You've been feeling it, haven't you? That constant pressure, the eyes on you, the sense that you're being watched, controlled, manipulated in ways that most people can't even comprehend. You try to explain it, but no one seems to understand. They brush it off as paranoia, or worse, they tell you it's all in your head. But deep down, you know it's real. You can feel it in your bones. You've been chosen for something that feels like an eternal test, a never-ending battle. And it's called gangstalking. But why? Why you? Why have you been singled out for this relentless, non-stop surveillance and harassment? It feels like there's no escape, no way to get a moment's peace. Every corner you turn, every phone call you make, there's always something lurking in the background, reminding you that you're not alone, that someone or something is keeping tabs on you. It's easy to fall into despair, to feel like you're losing control of your life. But what if I told you that this isn't just random? What if I told you that you've been chosen for a reason? That there's a deeper purpose behind all of this? You see, gangstalking isn't just about harassment or control. It's about transformation. It's about your spiritual awakening. You're being prepared for something bigger, something that most people will never understand.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
You might be wondering, how could something so painful, so confusing, ever be part of a divine plan that's the thing? The path to spiritual enlightenment is rarely easy. In fact, it's often filled with trials, challenges, and yes, suffering. It's no coincidence that the greatest spiritual figures throughout history, prophets, sages, mystics, were often persecuted, misunderstood, and targeted. They were chosen because they had something unique to offer the world, something powerful, something transformative. And you, too, have been chosen. But let me ask you this, are you willing to see this experience not as a curse, but as a calling? Because that's what gangstalking is. It's a calling. A harsh, intense, and often brutal calling, but a calling nonetheless. You've been selected because you have the strength, the resilience, and the spiritual depth to endure it, not just to survive it, but to transcend it. The question you need to ask yourself is, what are you being prepared for? Because make no mistake, you are being prepared. Every moment of discomfort, every shadowy figure in your periphery, every strange coincidence that makes your heart race, they're all nudges, pushing you closer to a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Gangstalking is like a crucible, a fire that burns away the superficial layers of your being, forcing you to confront the truth of who you are and why you're here. You see, the world we live in is full of distractions. Most people go through life never really seeing the truth. They're caught up in the illusion, in the surface-level reality that keeps them disconnected from their true purpose. But you've been chosen to see beyond that. You've been chosen to wake up. And sometimes waking up isn't gentle. It's jarring. It's terrifying. And yes, it feels like you're being hunted because, in a sense, you are. You're being hunted by the very forces that want to keep you asleep, that want to keep you in the dark. But here's the thing, you're not powerless. In fact, you have more power than you realize. The reason you've been targeted is because you're a threat to the status quo, to the systems that thrive on keeping people in fear, in doubt, in ignorance. Your awakening threatens to disrupt the entire system. And that's why they're watching you. That's why they're trying to break you down. But they can't. They won't, because you were chosen for this. But let me ask you something. What are you going to do with this? Are you going to let the fear consume you? Or are you going to rise above it? Because that's what this journey is about. It's about rising above the fear, the paranoia, the constant surveillance. It's about realizing that none of these things can truly touch who you are at your core. Your spirit is untouchable, your soul is eternal, and no amount of gangstalking can change that. So stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now? What is this experience trying to teach me? What is it revealing about the world, about society, about myself? Because once you start asking those questions, you'll start to see the patterns. You'll start to understand that gangstalking is not just a random act of cruelty, it's a mirror. It's reflecting back to you everything that needs to be healed, everything that needs to be confronted. This is your initiation. This is your spiritual test. And the reason it feels so intense, so relentless, is because the stakes are high. You've been chosen for something extraordinary. You've been chosen to wake up, to see the truth, to break free from the matrix of fear and control that so many people are trapped in. And once you break free, once you see the truth for what it is, you'll realize that you were never really a victim. You were always a warrior. Now that we've explored why you've been chosen for this experience, let's dive even deeper into what it means to be targeted in this way. It's easy to fall into the mindset of being a victim, to believe that you're powerless against the forces that seem to be working against you. But here's the truth: you're not a victim. You're a warrior, and this is a spiritual battle. You've been chosen because you have the capacity to stand in the face of darkness and not be consumed by it. You have the ability to see through the illusions, to recognize the fear tactics for what they are, and to rise above them. Most people, when faced with this kind of pressure, would crumble. They would retreat into themselves, give up, and live in a constant state of paranoia. But not you. You're still here, aren't you? You're still fighting. You're still searching for answers. And that's because you have the heart of a warrior. But let me ask you something. What does it mean to be a spiritual warrior? It's not about fighting in the traditional sense. It's not about combat or aggression. It's about resilience. It's about standing firm in the truth, even when everything around you is designed to make you doubt yourself. It's about holding onto your inner light, even when the darkness seems overwhelming. You see, gangstalking is like a pressure test. It's designed to push you to your limits, to make you question everything you know about yourself and the world. But here's the thing: pressure creates diamonds. And you, my friend, are becoming a diamond. Every moment of doubt, every encounter that makes you feel like you're losing control, it's all a part of the process. It's refining you, sharpening you, preparing you for what's to come. But here's a question for you: what if the very thing that's trying to break you is actually making you stronger? What if the pressure, the surveillance, the constant feeling of being watched is actually a tool that's being used to awaken your inner power? Because that's exactly what's happening. You're being forced to rely on something deeper than your physical senses. You're being pushed to connect with your intuition, your inner knowing, in ways that most people never do. And that's where your power lies. It's not in trying to fight the external forces that seem to be against you. It's in going inward. It's in tapping into the infinite well of strength, wisdom, and peace that resides within you. Because here's the truth: no external force can touch your spirit. No amount of surveillance, no amount of harassment can ever truly harm you at a soul level. And once you realize that, once you fully embrace that truth, you become unstoppable. But let me ask you this: are you willing to shift your perspective? Are you willing to see this experience not as something that's happening to you, but something that's happening for you? Because that's the key to transcending gangstalking. It's not about trying to escape it or fight it. It's about realizing that you've been chosen for this experience because you have the strength to transcend it. You have the ability to rise above it, to see it for what it really is: a spiritual initiation. And here's the thing, once you shift your perspective, once you start seeing yourself as a warrior instead of a victim, everything changes. The fear starts to lose its grip on you. The paranoia starts to fade. And you begin to see the truth that you're not alone in this. You're being guided, protected, and supported by forces far greater than the ones that are trying to control you. You're not just surviving gangstalking, you're mastering it. You're using it as a tool for your spiritual growth, as a way to awaken to your true power. And that's why you've been chosen. Because you have the strength, the resilience, and the wisdom to not just endure this experience, but to transcend it. Now, let's take this understanding of being a spiritual warrior and go even deeper. Because here's the truth, gangstalking isn't just about harassment or surveillance. It's about awakening. It's about calling you to a higher level of consciousness. And the moment you begin to see it that way, you begin to master the art of transcendence. But what does it mean to transcend? It means to rise above, to elevate your consciousness to a level where the external circumstances no longer have power over you. It means to see the situation for what it really is, a spiritual test, a challenge designed to bring you closer to your true self. And here's the thing, you've been chosen for this test because you have the potential to transcend it. But let me ask you something, what's holding you back? What fears, doubts, or beliefs are keeping you from fully stepping into your power? Because here's the truth, the only thing that can truly harm you in this experience is your own mind. The fear, the paranoia, the doubt, it's all rooted in a belief that you're powerless. But once you realize that you're not, once you truly understand that you have the power to transcend this experience, everything changes. You see, gangstalking is like a mirror. It reflects back to you everything that you need to heal, everything that you need to confront within yourself. It forces you to face your fears head-on, to confront the parts of yourself that are still living in the illusion of separation, of fear, of control. And once you do that, once you confront those parts of yourself, you begin to heal. You begin to integrate. And that's when the transcendence happens. But here's the thing, transcendence doesn't mean escaping the experience. It doesn't mean the gangstalking will magically stop. What it means is that it no longer has power over you. It means that you've risen above it, that you've connected with a deeper truth, a deeper reality that goes beyond the physical world. And once you do that, once you step into that higher level of consciousness, the experience of gangstalking becomes irrelevant. It becomes just another part of your spiritual journey, another step in your awakening. But let me ask you this, are you ready to transcend? Are you ready to step into the fullness of who you are and leave behind the fear, the doubt, and the paranoia? Because here's the truth, you've been chosen for this experience because you have the potential to awaken to a higher level of consciousness. You have the potential to see the truth of who you are, a divine being, an eternal soul, untouched by the illusions of this world. And once you see that truth, once you embody that truth, you become unstoppable. You become a beacon of light, a force of love and truth in a world that's desperately trying to keep people in fear and darkness. And that's why you've been chosen, because the world needs you. The world needs your light, your truth, your wisdom. And this experience, as painful and confusing as it may be, is the very thing that's going to help you step into that power. So stop wondering why you've been chosen. Stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now? What is this experience trying to teach you? What is it revealing about yourself, about the world? And how can you use it to awaken to a higher level of consciousness? Because here's the truth, you've been chosen for a reason. You've been chosen because you have the strength, the wisdom, and the resilience to transcend this experience and become the person you were always meant to be. And once you do, once you fully step into your power, nothing in this world can stop you. So here we are. You've come to the final part of this journey, and now you're faced with the ultimate decision: will you choose to awaken? You see, everything you've been through, the gang stalking, the harassment, the constant surveillance, it's all been leading to this moment. It's been pushing you, testing you, preparing you for the ultimate choice. Will you continue to live in fear, or will you choose to awaken to the truth of who you are? This is the final test, and it's not an easy one. Awakening isn't something that just happens. It's a conscious choice. It's a decision you have to make every single day to rise above the fear, the doubt, and the paranoia, and to step into the truth of who you are. But let me ask you this: are you ready? Are you ready to leave behind the old version of yourself, the version that lived in fear, and step into the new version of yourself, the version that knows the truth, the version that understands that you are not a victim, but a powerful divine being? Because here's the truth: awakening isn't about escaping the challenges of life. It's about seeing them for what they really are, stepping stones on your journey to becoming the person you were always meant to be. And this experience, as painful as it may have been, has been one of the greatest gifts you could ever receive. It's been the catalyst for your awakening, the fire that's been burning away everything that's not truly you, leaving behind only the truth. But the choice is yours. You can continue to live in fear, or you can choose to awaken. You can continue to see yourself as a victim, or you can choose to step into your power. You can continue to ask, why me? Or you can start asking, what now? Because here's the truth: you've been chosen for this experience, because you have the strength to transcend it. You have the wisdom to see beyond the illusions, and you have the power to awaken to the truth of who you are. So, what will you choose? Will you continue to live in fear, or will you choose to awaken? Will you continue to see yourself as a victim, or will you step into your power? The choice is yours.